The power of prayer. Asterisk asterisk. Hash the power of prayer. Hash hash Chapter 1. The Gathering Storm. The rain hammered against the glass window of the small, cramped apartment in the heart of the bustling city. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy with a silence that felt almost suffocating. Ahmad sat at the wooden dining table, his head buried in his hands. The soft glow of a single table lamp illuminated the stacks of unpaid bills and medical reports scattered before him. Ahmad was a man of simple means. He worked as a high school teacher, a job he loved deeply, but one that barely provided enough to keep his family afloat. For years, he and his wife, Aisha, had lived a life of contentment, grateful for the small blessings they possessed. Their greatest joy was their 7-year-old daughter, Zainab, a bright, bubbly girl whose laughter could light up the darkest of rooms. But 3 months ago, that laughter had faded. It started with a persistent fever and a sudden loss of energy. When the local clinic couldn't find the cause, Ahmad took Zainab to the city's general hospital. After an agonizing week of tests, the doctors delivered a devastating verdict. Zainab was suffering from a rare and aggressive heart condition. She needed an urgent, highly specialized surgery. The cost of the procedure was staggering, an amount Ahmad could not hope to earn in a lifetime. Aisha entered the room quietly, carrying a cup of warm tea. She placed it gently next to him and rested her hand on his trembling shoulder. "She just fell asleep," Aisha whispered, her voice cracking with exhaustion. "Her fever is down a little, but she looks so fragile, Ahmad." Ahmad looked up, his eyes bloodshot and filled with tears. "I've spoken to every bank, every charity, and every relative we have, Aisha. The banks won't give a loan of this size without collateral, which we don't have. The charities have waiting lists that span years. We don't have years. We don't even have months. The doctor said we have a few weeks at most." He slammed his fist lightly on the table, despair taking over. "What kind of father am I? I can teach hundreds of children how to succeed in life, but I cannot save my own daughter's life because of paper. Because of money." Aisha knelt beside his chair, taking his rough hands into her own. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but her eyes held a profound depth of certainty. "Ahmad, look at me," she said softly but firmly. "We have knocked on every worldly door, and they have all been shut in our faces. But we have forgotten the most important door. The door that never closes." Ahmad looked at her, his heart heavy. "The door of Allah." "Yes," Aisha nodded. "We have been so busy running after people, begging for their help, that we forgot to beg the one who holds the hearts of those people. Ahmad, human means have failed us. It is time to rely entirely on the power of prayer. Dua can change destiny." Chapter 2. The Night of Desperation. That night, when the rest of the city slept, Ahmad woke up in the dead of night. The clock read 3 a.m. The world was completely still, save for the rhythmic sound of the pouring rain outside. He walked to the bathroom, performed wudu ablution with cold water, which shocked his senses and cleared his mind. He then stepped into the small living room, spread his prayer mat facing the Qibla, and stood up for Tahajjud, the night prayer. As he folded his hands, a wave of emotion washed over him. He recited the verses of the Quran, his voice trembling in the dark. When he bowed down into sujud prostration, the weight of his worries became too heavy to bear. He wept silently at first, and then the tears flowed uncontrollably, soaking the fabric of the prayer mat. With his forehead pressed against the floor, in the closest position a servant can be to his creator, Ahmad poured his heart out. He did not care about sophisticated words or formal language. He spoke from the depths of his broken soul. "Greater than, O Allah, you are the creator of my daughter. You gave her to us as a beautiful gift, and you know how much we love her. The doctors say there is no hope without money, but you are the owner of all wealth. You are the healer, the curer. There is no cure except your cure. O Allah, I am helpless. I am weak. I have no one else to turn to. Please, do not send me away empty-handed. Save my Zainab." Greater than. Ahmad stayed in that position for what felt like hours. For the first time in months, as he pleaded and begged his Lord, a strange sense of tranquility began to settle over his heart. The suffocating anxiety started to lift, replaced by a profound peace. He realized that while the problem was massive for him, it was effortless for the Almighty. When the call for the Fajr prayer echoed from the nearby mosque, Ahmad finished his prayers. He walked into Zainab's room and looked at her sleeping face. She looked peaceful. He kissed her forehead, feeling a renewed sense of hope. He did not know how help would come, but he knew with absolute certainty that his prayers had been heard. Chapter 3. An unexpected encounter. The next morning, Ahmad went to the hospital to collect Zainab's latest medical reports. The atmosphere at the Grand Hospital was chaotic, filled with hundreds of patients and anxious families. As Ahmad stood in the long queue at the administrative desk, he noticed an elderly gentleman sitting on a bench nearby. The old man looked frail, dressed in simple clothing, and was struggling to open a small bottle of medication. His hands were shaking violently. People rushed past the old man, too consumed by their own emergencies to notice his struggle. Ahmad, despite his own heavy heart, felt a surge of empathy. He stepped out of the queue, walked over to the gentleman, and knelt beside him. "Assalamu alaikum, uncle, let me help you with that," Ahmad said gently. He took the bottle, opened it carefully, and handed it back to the old man along with a bottle of water he was carrying. The old man took the medicine, drank the water, and took a deep, relieving breath. "Thank you, young man," the old man said, his voice weak but warm. "May Allah bless you. In a place like this, everyone is in a hurry. Nobody stops for an old soul." "It is my duty, uncle," Ahmad replied with a sad smile. The old man noticed the dark circles under Ahmad's eyes and the thick folder of medical reports tucked under his arm. "You look burdened, my son. Is everything all right? Who are you here for?" Ahmad hesitated for a moment. He didn't want to burden a stranger with his misery, but there was something incredibly comforting about the old man's presence. "It's my 7-year-old daughter, Zainab. She has a critical heart condition. The doctors say she needs an operation immediately, but..." Ahmad's voice trailed off, his eyes welling up with tears. "The cost is beyond my reach. I am just a teacher." The old man listened intently, his expression changing from sympathy to deep contemplation. He patted Ahmad's hand. "Never lose hope in the mercy of Allah, son. When the world closes all doors, He opens paths from places you could never imagine. Keep praying." Ahmad nodded. "I am praying, uncle. That is all I have left." Just then, Ahmad's name was called at the counter. He stood up, wished the old man well, and rushed to get the reports. By the time he turned around to say a proper goodbye, the elderly gentleman was gone. Chapter 4. The miracle unfolds. 2 days passed. Zainab's condition began to deteriorate rapidly. She was admitted to the intensive care unit (ICU) as her breathing became labored. Ahmad and Aisha spent their days and nights on the hospital benches, their tongues constantly moving in remembrance of Allah, reciting dua after dua. On the third morning, a nurse rushed out of the ICU and approached Ahmad. "Are you Ahmad, the father of Zainab?" Ahmad stood up instantly, his heart racing with fear. Yes, I am. Is she all right? The chief medical officer wants to see you in his office immediately," the nurse said urgently. Ahmad's legs felt like lead as he walked down the corridor. He feared the worst. Had they given up? Was it too late? He closed his eyes and whispered, "Ya Allah, give me strength." He knocked and entered the large, luxurious office of Dr. Rahman, the most renowned pediatric cardiac surgeon in the country. To Ahmad's surprise, Rahman was not alone. Sitting in a chair across from him was a well-dressed man who looked like an executive. "Ah, Ahmad, please sit down, Rahman said, gesturing to a chair. Ahmad sat down, trembling. "Doctor, please tell me, how is my daughter? Is there any hope?" Dr. Rahman smiled, a warm, reassuring smile that instantly took Ahmad by surprise. "Ahmad, your daughter is going to be operated on tomorrow morning. We have already scheduled the theater, and a specialized medical team is being assembled." Ahmad stared at him, utterly confused. But doctor, the cost. I haven't paid the deposit. I don't have the money." The executive sitting next to the doctor turned to Ahmad and smiled. "You don't need to worry about the money, Mr. Ahmad. The entire cost of the surgery, the post-operative care, and all medications have been paid for in full." Ahmad felt the room spin. "Paid? By whom? Who would do this for us?" The executive handed Ahmad a small, elegant envelope. "I am the secretary to Dr. Bilal, the founder of the Bilal Healthcare Trust and one of the wealthiest philanthropists in the region. He instructed me to deliver this to you." With shaking hands, Ahmad opened the envelope and pulled out a handwritten note. As he read the words, tears began to splash onto the paper. Greater than, Dear Ahmad, Assalamu alaikum. Greater than 2 days ago, you stopped to help a shaking old man open his medicine bottle when the rest of the world passed him by. You did not know who I was, nor did you expect anything in return. You told me about your daughter Zainab and your absolute trust in the power of prayer. Greater than when I returned to my office, I looked into your case. Allah did not just bring us together by chance, He chose me as the instrument to answer your tahajjud prayers. The wealth I possess belongs to Allah, and it is my honor to spend it to save your beautiful daughter. Asterisk. Greater than do not thank me. Thank the one who guided you to leave your queue and sit beside an old man. Please keep me in your prayers. Asterisk. Greater than, drive, Bilal. Greater than, Ahmad fell from his chair straight onto the floor, weeping uncontrollably in a prostration of gratitude. Asterisk Sujud al-Shukr asterisk. The doctor and the secretary watched in silence, deeply moved by the sight. Through his tears, Ahmad choked out the words, "Thank you, Ya Allah. You heard me. You truly heard me." Chapter 5. A New Dawn. The next day, Zainab underwent a grueling 6-hour surgery. Ahmad and Aisha stood outside the operation theater, their hands clasped together, their hearts filled with absolute peace. They were no longer afraid, for they had witnessed firsthand how the ruler of the universe could move mountains for a single sincere prayer. When the on-air light finally turned off, drive. Rahman stepped out, wiping his brow. He looked at the anxious parents and gave a bright smile. Alhamdulillah, the doctor said. The surgery was a complete success. Zainab has a strong heart, and she is going to live a long, healthy life. Aisha collapsed into Ahmad's arms, crying tears of pure joy. Ahmad looked up at the sky, his heart overflowing with a profound truth that he would carry for the rest of his days. Months later, Zainab was back to her vibrant self, running around the house and filling their lives with her infectious laughter. The family's life returned to normal, but they were forever changed. Ahmad established a small study circle in his neighborhood, teaching people not just from textbooks, but teaching them the greatest lesson he had ever learned, that when human hands are raised in sincerity to the heavens, they never return empty. The world operates on laws of cause and effect, but the creator of the world operates on love, mercy, and the boundless, miraculous power of prayer.